Hi, I'm Bill, and you are on the Travel Beat with Angela and Bill, your source for all things travel. Today I have some very big news for those that are unvaccinated and looking to cruise. A major cruise line has rather quietly eased their restrictions a little bit while staying within the CDC guidelines that they're voluntarily participating in. Stay tuned and I'll give you all the details. We have some good news today for those who are unvaccinated and would like to cruise. Stick around towards the end and I will explain to you the process for getting a vaccine exemption on one of the major cruise lines. So far this channel has been about posting reviews and walkthroughs of resorts and cruises that we have been through in the past. Last weekend we did a live stream from Secrets Royal Beach, and we plan on doing future live streams and reviews on both places we've been before and cruises that we're going to be going on, as well as other all-inclusive resorts. In fact, this weekend we're scheduled to be on a 3-day cruise that we scheduled the last minute on the Disney Dream. We're going to try to do a live stream on Friday if we can, and certainly if not, we will be filming a lot of the footage and giving you a full review on what we think of Disney Cruise Lines. As you know, over 2 years ago, the cruise lines shut down. Approximately a year ago, or last summer, they restarted cruising in earnest. They did so under the conditional sail order that the CDC put in place. This conditional sail order set up guidelines such as testing requirements, vaccine requirements, sanitation, different plans that the cruise lines had to abide by before they would be able to sail in and out of United States ports. In January, the conditional sail order that was mandatory turned into a conditional sail order that was voluntary, and the cruise lines were given the opportunity to either opt in or opt out at different levels. All of the major cruise lines opted in at the highly vaccinated level, which meant that in addition to other requirements, that 95% of those sailing on the ship and 100% of the crew would be vaccinated. At this level, it left very, very little room to work with for the cruise lines. Essentially nothing changed. They still required vaccines for basically all passengers that were eligible to receive it. In early May, the CDC dropped the threshold for highly vaccinated cruising from 95% to 90%. Now, in my opinion, that gave all the cruise lines a little bit of wiggle room to allow a few exemptions for non-medical or people that weren't eligible for it. Now, before we go any further, I'm just going to let you know I am not going to be discussing the effectiveness of the vaccine or vaccine mandates. We all have our opinion on that. I'm not going to change your opinion. You're not going to change my opinion. I'm just here to kind of relay the facts as they exist. Those that know me personally know my opinion of things, but I really would prefer to keep that out of the discussion and just provide the information that's important to you. So at that point, I was wondering what was going to end up happening as far as whether the cruise lines are going to follow through and ease the vaccine requirements off a little bit. Now, I do understand that there's a lot of reasons why the cruise lines are doing this. One, they don't want bad press. The cruise lines have been, in my opinion, very unfairly singled out as having COVID outbreaks. Now, an outbreak is relative. On a cruise ship of 5,000 people, if 50 people get sick, well, that's 1%. To me, that's not an outbreak. But 50 in a small area on a plane, that's a significant number. So there's a certain media frenzy that went along with the cruise line industry. And again, on other videos, I'll discuss, my thoughts on that and how the media handled it. But anyway, you have that. Then you have the fact that the cruises, while they are at sea, do have limited medical facilities. They really aren't up to handling large numbers of sick passengers that would get critically ill. So we kind of had that working against us as far as easing requirements for testing or vaccinations. But when I saw it went from 95 to 90, I thought that they'd leave them a little bit of wiggle room. Well, last week, Princess sort of quietly reduced the vaccination requirements from 95% to 90%. Again, following the CDC's voluntary guidelines. They also are allowing exemptions on a first-come, first-served basis. And that does not include children under 5 who are unable to get the vaccine. So it definitely opens the door a little bit for some people who are unvaccinated to be able to sail on cruises again. I was able to confirm today that yes, there is a process for cruising on Princess cruises unvaccinated. You essentially, I highly recommend that you contact your travel agent if you're looking to do so, because not everybody is up to the speed on the process yet. It's new. It hasn't been subject of a major announcement. It's been done kind of quietly, which I understand. So essentially what happens is you'll make a reservation. You do not need to make a deposit on it. The reservation will go through, and then your travel agent, or I would assume if you were booking on your own, you would call Princess and request an exemption. During that process, it may take some time. They will try to get an exemption while on the phone. And again, this is on a first-come, first-served basis. So it appears that it's not a pile of exemptions sitting in a corner and somebody picking and choosing through and deciding which one they want to pick and which one they don't. It's on a, like I said, on a first-come, first-served basis. I was able to book somebody today, and the process was fairly painless. Now, I did speak to somebody else at Princess that wasn't quite up to speed on things. So, again, this is very new. A lot of the telephone agents that work into cruise lines are fairly new. So, like everything else, they might not be up to speed. So, sometimes you may have to ask a couple of people or follow up. If you have any questions, you're welcome to put them down in the comments. I'll answer what I can. Again, this is very new policy. It's been rolled out without much fanfare. So there really isn't a whole lot of information. But again, feel free to drop down in the comments any questions that you may have about the policy. I'll answer them as best I can. If you're finding this content valuable, please like the video. And if you'd like to sign up for more news and information, as well as our vlogs, cruise ship reviews, all-inclusive resort reviews, and some travel tips and tricks, definitely subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss out on anything. Again, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. The feedback is very important to us so that we know whether we're on the right path or not, and whether we should continue with this type of content.